Jared, what we were talking about in one of the past episodes about like pivoting and like valuing a business, I pulled out the trusty old security analysis by Graham and Dodd, where Graham was the Benjamin Graham, obviously teacher of Warren Buffett, who was his prodigy.
The putt guy, right?
And
not putt. The last cigarette butt, right?
cigarette, yes, sir.
Yeah, the last puff.
Find the last puff. So I mean, he did really well doing that, but obviously.
Oh, do you know the reference?
No.
Rory, can you give the reference? Great, you know it better than me.
So if you find a cigarette on the street and you're a smoker and you got an extra puff in it, it's like great. So what Benjamin Graham would do is he'd go in, he'd find a company that was probably on the way out, but there was just enough left to get like a nice 50% return, probably within like a year or two. He would do that by analyzing the balance sheet. And
because their shares are down, but they still have a little bit of
they're going to have one jump.
Yeah.
They're probably going to have a jump left. So exactly, they're the
corporate
depressed price. Mm-hmm. So basically buying
huge money.
Pardon?
And he made just huge money doing it.
Oh yeah, huge money. I can't remember the returns, but anyway, he founded basically the process of value investing. He started doing a course at Columbia. So I was looking at he talks about, I couldn't find the exact pages I was thinking of, but in security analysis, he talks about deconstructing a balance sheet, because obviously how does a business like Google make money off their assets, or Ford, like we talked about last episode, or CN Rail or CP Rail? Well, they have to have those assets in place so they can make their revenue and their profits off of those. So I was looking at deconstructing a balance sheet, and I thought it was interesting because in that they say an investment operation is one which, upon thorough analysis, promises safety of principal and a satisfactory return. Operations not meeting these requirements are speculative. And that's a pretty heavy statement as well.
Can you put that in your own, Rory? Can you just kind of rephrase it? Because I couldn't follow it as a quote. But what's he saying here?
So he's saying basically, if you look at a company and they've got like a strong balance sheet and that you can see like their consistent revenues off their assets and their profits, well, that's a good company, especially if you can predict like the future potentially based on a range of like what they're going to generate in earnings. Anything and beyond that is speculative. And I know this from personal experience, because back when I was first doing investing, you go into like a Blackberry, and Blackberry didn't have profits. You're waiting for the quarter to come out to see if they have this big announcement or a new phone, but there's no profit line to base it off of. So do those assets really mean anything, or are you just speculating based on what's going to come?
That they will utilize those assets in some new way.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of times they don't. They just flounder and flounder and flounder, and they just disappear.